Hello, guys. Welcome to Industrial Mechanics video session. My name is Engineer Larawaju Julius, a trainer with Industrial Training Fund Nigeria. Today, I will be taking you through occupational health and safety. As you all know, safety is key in life, either in our every day-to-day activities or in a normal work setting. There is nothing you can do without putting the element of safety into it. And why is it very important for us to be looking at occupational health and safety? It is a normal and a healthy human being that can perform productively at work. And this concept is very key to our discussion, especially in industrial mechanic environment. Whether you like it or not, you must take cognizance of your secured environment whereby you can actually deliver. And what are the things you need to consider? It is very important for you as a industrial mechanic technicians to take cognizance of the hazard situation of your environment, because it is only with this situation that you can actually render your work like a trained and a professional who is actually ready to deliver his work with utmost safety consideration. What is occupational health? Occupational health is just a concept that gives you an understanding of how safe you could be in your work environment, taking cognizance of the hazard and the injuries that is possible for you to actually incur even at work. But you should know that it is very pertinent for you to have a broader understanding of how you can actually assess the risk that is involved in the work you do on a daily basis. And that is why occupational hazard is key. It is described as a damage to health or injuries at workplace. Because every work has its associated risk. Every work, whether the office work, the industrial work, or even the workshop work, especially the engineering work, there are a lot of hazards involved in this kind of situation. And it is pertinent for you as a person to actually look at the classes of hazards that are so involved in the kind of work you are to do. And that is why the issue of risk assessment is very important. You need to take cognizance of risk assessment. Any work that you are given at all, you should be able to actually assess what level of risk am I going to be exposed to doing this job. What are the associated dangers that are inherent in this particular work I want to do? And that one will lead us into actually classifying the various types of hazards that are available in any given job. Hazards are classified as follows. We have physical hazards. These are hazards that are very germane in most environments. This could be as a result of probably illumination. If illumination is too much, even where I am standing now presently, I will be a bit disturbed. If the noise is too much for me, definitely I will be a bit disturbed. If there is a little bit of vibration, my balance will be at risk. Even the atmospheric pressure, the comfort of the environment. If this place is too cold, I may begin to respond to the temperature differential. Invariably, this one might have something to do with my level of performance. These are risks. And all this needed to actually be assessed for me to know which is the comfort or the conducive environment for me to actually deliver. I equally need to consider the ergonomic hazard. This ergonomic hazard has to do with a normal worker's relationship with his environment, with the machine he's using, with the nature of work he's doing. I need to understand what is the posture. If I'm to bend down to pick something, at what regular interval am I going to do this? If it's becoming too frequent, I need to begin to assess what is the situation of this on my waist. Is it actually stressing me? Is it inflicting a level of fatigue on my body? These are things I need to assess. At what intervals do I need to bend? What is the level of that frequency of achieving that? This will, of course, have effect on my level of performance. Of course, I need to take cognizance of that. If I'm to carry load, if I'm to move, how many times am I actually repeating this? The level of frequency will determine the effect this one will have upon my body. And of course, I shouldn't forget to take note of the chemical hazard. If I'm working in an environment whereby we have fumes, we have some gaseous emissions that are somehow irritant to my body, even though if I'm not wearing any safety gadget that will protect me from this, I will begin to feel somehow. If it's sort of gas that can actually make me feel dizzy, definitely that one will affect my performance. So I need to assess my environmental condition. What are the kind of gas I'm exposed to in my work environment? I need to carry out a proper risk assessment of this. Chemical hazards are common in most industries today, depending on the nature of byproducts that particular company is releasing to the atmosphere. There are some gaseous compounds we see today. If we are talking of carbon monoxide, this is very dangerous to our health. If we are looking at lead, which is another obnoxious compound that has issue or that has effects on our body if care is not taken or if inhaled. And there are some hydrocarbons. If inhaled, they have deleterious effects upon our body system. And of course, we should equally look at electrical hazard. Every engineering environment is made up of a lot of electrical gadgets, electrical installations. Uninsulated wire is a very great risk to the worker in that kind of environment. So there is every good reason for whoever is to work in an industrial environment to take cognizance of electrical hazard. What of shock that could come as a result of electrical hazard? These are minor, which could equally lead to serious issue if care is not taken. So as a technician, I must take cognizance of equally the biological hazard in my environment. If I'm working in the food and beverages environment, definitely I should take note of the kind of effluents, bacteria, and some other viruses that may be prevalent even in that kind of environment. So, and that is the reason why a worker needs to actually assess all these classes of hazard. The level of assessment you carry out will determine the level of control which you are going to put in place in order to safeguard your exposure as a technician to all these classes of hazard. They are very pertinent and they are very important for us. And we need to look at the concept of accident because it is the hazard that will lead to accident if care is not taken. And there are two major points to consider here. We want to look at the unsafe act and the unsafe condition. Every unsafe act is the undesirable behavior of an individual. Unsafe act. Undesirable behavior of an individual in an environment. Those are the ones we classify as unsafe acts. And it ranges from probably horseplay in a work environment. Horseplay in a work environment. So this is an unsafe act. If you are trying to operate a machine that has a guard, and deliberately you decide not to put the guard in place, it's an unsafe act. But unsafe act would definitely not lead to accident without the addition of unsafe condition. There must be an unsafe condition in existence, and an unsafe behavior matched with it, both will lead to accident. What do we call unsafe conditions? These are conditions that are not favorable to the work environment. Wet floor, slippery floor. These are unsafe conditions. So somebody who doesn't really follow a normal safe operating procedure of a machine is an unsafe act. Coupled with a faulty machine, which is an unsafe condition, both will result into accident. And definitely accidents are unplanned events, which may either lead to injury, accidents, or even to fatality if care is not taken. So, but it's very important for us as an individual to take cognizance of these two conditions, unsafe acts and unsafe conditions, in every work situation we are carrying about. And that is why it's very good for the employee to make the environment conducive for the worker in order to deliver the job. And that is the aspect of unsafe condition. The work environment must be conducive for an employee to deliver his job. And that's the essence of the rules. There must be rules in place. There must be conditions that are favorable, then followed by the worker following the guiding principles that actually determine safe work practice in the work situation. And as an employee too, as an employer, there's a need for an employer to put structures in place. Very fighter engineering control. my workplace should be designed in a way that will give me some level of comfort for me to deliver. My work environment should do that. So I need to begin to give us a list of unsafe acts, which I call undesirable behavior of an individual in a workplace. Working in an unsafe posture, every work activity, every work task has its what? Related work posture, work position that is demanded. As an operator of a machine, there is a particular posture that is expected of you while you are operating the machine. As a material handler, somebody who is handling material, there are levels of unsafe acts are numerous, depending on your kind of work situation and work setting. Ordinarily not following the laid-down procedure, standard laid-down operating procedure of your work is an unsafe act. Working under the influence of alcohol is an unsafe act. When you are trying to be absent-minded, that is an unsafe act. Of course, your work requires utmost attention and concentration. If you do not follow the laid-down procedure to achieve a particular task, that's an unsafe act. It goes on and on. But every worker who has made up his mind to work safely needs to take cognizance of all these acts, together with the unsafe condition that I highlighted the other time. But I can still go over them. Unsafe condition, I regard them as unfavorable work environment, which range from wet floor, slippery floor, unguarded machine condition, and at the same time, if a particular cable is without proper insulation, that actually exposes even a worker to an electrical shock in that kind of environment. So, occupational health and safety is key and is very paramount to a safe work situation and even a good, healthy life of the worker who is working in that kind of environment. So, carrying out proper risk assessment of your work is very key. And it is based on this risk assessment that one will be able to know the level of hazard he or she will be exposed to doing that job. And that will equally push him or her as to what amount of control measures or safety precautions one needs to put in place in order to guarantee safe work condition for that individual. I believe if, as a technician, you are able to take precautions and you take cognizance of all this vital information, your unsafe condition and the unsafe act in the work environment, you will go a long way to safeguarding hazard and then accidental situation in every workplace. I need to recap. I said occupational health and safety has its own associated risk. That is, every work has its own associated risk. There is no work, no matter how simple that work is, no matter where you are carrying that work out, there is a little amount of hazard that is present in that work. Meaning that you must be able to assess it, you must be able to identify them, you must be able to know the level of injury they can inflict on your body. You must be able to know if care is not taken, what could happen if proper safety precautions are not put in place. These are very key. And I have equally told you to identify unsafe acts. Take cognizance of them. Recognize unsafe condition in your workplace because it is only the two that could lead to accident. No single one. Unsafe condition will never give you an accident unless unsafe act is attached to it. And neither will unsafe act lead to accident without an unsafe condition. The two must be carefully taken care of in every work situation. And with this, I believe a worker will be able to do his work perfectly, productively, and in a safe manner. In another lesson, we shall be looking at concept of accident and its prevention. And of course, we'll be looking at personal protective equipment, all those safety gadgets we can put on in order to safeguard us from actually inflicting injury on our body or to actually prevent us from any form of disease or ailment that could arise from unsafe work situation and unsafe condition. Thank you.